Divorced men of Reddit, what moment with your former wife made me think, yep, I'm asking this girl to divorce me? Besides the narcissism, random violence, and violent outbursts, it was her strange punishments. Her last one doomed her. My crime? I forgot milk on the way home from work, so she didn't talk to me, not one word, for a week. Pure bliss, for a week. When she asked if I was ready to apologize, I handed her the divorce papers. Why? Because you robbed me of solitude but provide me with no companionship. Damn. I feel that way right now. That last quote, goddamn. My situation is a little different than most. Our property has 2 houses, the main and then the smaller cottage. The cottage is supposed to be hers and the main is for me and the kid. Well, she stays in my bed all the time, forgets to sleep in her house, just things like that. So I get be in close proximity to a woman who I find insanely attractive and who also, for the past 1.5 months, not wanted anything to do with me physically. She wants the comfort of me being there but doesn't reciprocate a damn thing. Fuck. I needed to read your story though. Thanks for getting it out there. Hope you always forget the milk. Wow. So this happens often, huh? My best friend says before her parents divorced she can remember the last Thanksgiving where her mom was cooking all day and then her dad came in and out of nowhere, no words exchanged, started throwing all the food at the wall, broke all the dishes and ruined the meal, then just walked out like nothing happened. He stole dinner from his kids to prove a point to his wife. And I've been around her dad a million times. He's a super cool guy and she loves her dad very much. He has spoiled her way more than the average father does. She still has never paid a car note or cell phone bill. I guess a miserable marriage really makes people do some fucking crazy ass shit. Because that person hurt you and you want to hurt them back. Unfortunately, much like waiting too long before rubbing a dog's face in his shit when he goes on the carpet, it loses meaning and coherence if too long a time passes between the offending events. Edit, ITT people exploding because I used an analogy about dogs. It is a figure of speech, relax, I don't go out in the middle of the night and punish dogs that shat on their owner's carpet. Yeah, I hear ya. Her mom was a real bitch. Basically her dad had raised her little sister believing she was his child for 4 years and then her mom came out and told him she had been having an affair for a really long time and the kid was her lover's kid and that she wanted the child to know her real dad, so she was telling the kid that he wasn't her real dad and that she was no longer allowed to call him daddy, etc. After the divorce she moved in with the man she'd cheated with and they had to retrain the kid to see him as her dad. For 4 years she called my friend's dad dad, then was just told never mind, you can never see him again, you have a new dad now. When my friend's dad would come on weekends to pick her up, the younger child would run outside and say daddy take me too, etc. and the biological dad and the mom would come outside and spank her. Pretty fucked up. On second thought I actually understand why he destroyed the dinner. Feels like vacations are a good litmus test to see if you're both still in love. There's a sports journalist I follow who takes his wife on holiday every year to do a sort of intervention to reassess their relationship and family goals. When I went on my final vacation with my family, Rents plus brother, everyone just fought with each other and it made me realize how dysfunctional we were and that it was just better for me to move out ASAP. Journalist is Ben Fowlkes, MMA, he talks about it on his podcast and his wife, a writer, wrote an article. I don't know how to find them since this was years ago. Slightly relevant, my last relationship was getting a bit rocky, I was fairly sure we would be happier apart. So we took a 2-week vacation overseas. I was worried it wouldn't go too well. But we had a really great time, the whole time, not one disagreement, great sex, got home, split up amicably about a week later. It still worked out in the end, because we both had a good holiday, and now we're both happier. Had a similar experience. Felt that my relationship with GF was going nowhere for a few months. We went to a music festival with friends. Had a great time, good sex, no drama. About 2 weeks later we split up with no shouting and a hug at the end. Still friends to this day. My sister said something similar about her ex. He had to go out of town for a business trip and she found that being a single parent was less work than having him be around. Then he fucked one of her friends and her first thought was finally, an excuse to kick him out. When she presented a picture of our 4-year-old daughter and me laying next to each other on the couch watching Blue's Clues to our marriage counselor as evidence of my inappropriate conduct around our kids. Thank God he saw right through that bullshit immediately and told her to knock it off. Edit, there is no Joe. Hashtag note me. Steve. Edit 2, many asked, so here's the deal. We've been divorced almost 5 years now. The process wasn't fair, but that wasn't really my ex's fault. No allegations of child abuse or misconduct were brought up against me during the proceedings, so that was good. They wouldn't have flown for a minute in court anyway. Our kids are older now and every day are becoming better equipped to see and understand the difference between what's reasonable and right and what's simply just batshit insane, and it's not working out all that well for their mother, who hasn't changed or much if at all since we parted ways. So it goes. I'm happily remarried now to a woman with kids of her own, kids who were friends and schoolmates of my kids before she and I even got to know each other. They're all our kids now. Life is good. No more shenanigans. I have a friend who went through this. There were so many lies leveled at him. At one stage even his computer was seized by police after she alleged he had child porn on it. It was so demoralizing. The only way he could see his kids was through supervised visits. A couple of things were in his favor though. The staff where he had to go and see his kids could tell he was genuine. He never once reacted to his ex either, which showed his character. He'd completely lose his shit when it was just me and him though, understandably. About 6 months and the police returned his computer and found nothing. Obviously, this was a major turning point for his case. His behavior throughout was spotless. He's actually a really gentle and caring guy. Meanwhile his ex was racking up DUI charges, which also helped. That was around 4 years ago now. He has had sole custody ever since, remarried to a nice girl who is their mom now. The ex just lost interest, which is sad, but good that she's not interfering also. Yeah, you'd be surprised how crazy some of those fucks are. Especially when they want to hurt the father. At least it was only inappropriate conduct and not molestation, rape and whatever else horrible there is. I still wish nothing but horrible things for my ex. I used to wish she would get hit by a car. She did and has pins in her leg and some issues. So now, I hope and wish for a larger car, or a bus. Either one. When the cops showed up and arrested me while I was washing dishes. Found out after being taken to the station that she had claimed that I had been beating on her and my 5-year-old son. Was acquitted in court a month or so later. The situation was so messed up that the cops actually testified on my behalf. When my ex-GF dialed 911 to report a false DV claim, I knew enough to be gone when cops arrived. Grabbed car keys and cash and spent night at motel. Otherwise I would have been arrested. She apologized to me, but that was night everything between us died. I soon moved out. Similar thing happened to me. We were fighting, she called the cops, I packed a small suitcase and went downstairs to wait for them to show up. It was cold outside and she was out there without a coat yelling at me. They showed up, patted me down, handcuffed me, and put me in the back of the cruiser. I'm sitting there, looking out the window at her talking to one of them. I could only imagine what she was saying. Then I muttered, "What happened to my life?" The driver chuckled. The other cop talking to my ex came over and let me out, uncuffed me, and said if I'm a good boy they won't have to come back and arrest me. "Yes, sir officer sir, and thank you." They left. My ex turned to me and said, "You know why I did that? To teach you a lesson."